Hello and welcome to Kabbalistic Astrology, the world's weekly forecast. This week from Florence, like it's a Florence Barcelona edition. And we're Matt Taylor. My name is Nicolette Colani, and we speak the weekly astrology. Well, Matt does, and I give like some insights and some energetic insights and spiritual tools and like all the rest to it. So welcome to this week. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Yes, I'm well.
Yes!
I'm very excited for some reason. I've got a lot of energy already.
I love that. Me too, actually.
Yeah,
Things are going
I
in
feel
the
very
right
ready.
direction. This is like the
I
feeling.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very uppy and vibey, no?
Mm-hmm.
Bit of
In the
positivity.
same wave.
Oh, it's so good. You're flying or moving around all the time. It's very
More
liberating, no?
It is. It totally is.
Sure.
We drove like last Friday, Bettina and I drove down to Florence. So we're now in Florence since like 3.5 days. It feels like an eternity in Florence already.
Right.
It feels very victorious. Like I feel like a deep sense of victory within me. It's amazing. Yeah. What's going on with the
That's
stars?
excellent. I'm glad. That's a good feeling, no?
Yeah,
Well, yes, here we are. It's Aquarius, so we're still there. I know when we get to the end of a month because I'm like, it's still there. So we're at the month of Aquarius next week, next Tuesday the 21st, more or less, these couple of days around there, we will go into the month of Pisces, which is the final month of the astrological year, and there'll be a lot to talk about. But here in the final weeks of Aquarius, we really feel the energy of Aquarius. And what are the positives? It's anything is possible, out of the box, a lot of like doing things differently, moving a lot of energy. It's the month that I call I energize, right? Because Aquarius rules the atom. That's why in the age of Aquarius, it's all about science and spirituality and these two things coming back together, about your energy, your vibrations, your frequencies. So in the age of Aquarius, we had doing a lot of things with the atom, right? We had Marie Curie, is that how you say her surname, with the work that she did on? Yeah, Curie, that's it. And then we've had Einstein with gravity, we've had nanotechnology, quantum physics, all of these, all in the study of the atom and how it really works, is all coming in the age of Aquarius. And here in the month of Aquarius, we're really getting messages about how I defy gravity or split seas. So it's all in the mind over the matter. Like this whole idea of Aquarius is that the mind can consciously elevate itself to be over this physical world. So in this month, we get a great sense of energy, and that I'm going to energize my life or energize what I'm doing. Okay. So that's basically the month of Aquarius, is where you can go out and do things that are out of the box, out of your routine. You bring out your unique qualities, things that make you an individual. It's also a sign that thinks a lot about community or humanity or the bigger picture. Yeah, they're not great with intimacy, and they're not great with details. Right? They're not great with things that are close. They're good with things that are big and far and open, like the real like the cosmos and the universe and the bigger picture of the world. This is what they're better for. Okay, but in a paradox in the chart, we have a lot of relationship things happening. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So if you're born in Aquarius, or you have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, you're quite known for being a little colder, a little bit aloof. Right, the planet that rules Aquarius is Saturn. It also rules Capricorn. These are the two signs that are a little colder, a little aloof, right? A little more distant, not so emotional. Yeah. So a lot of the work of Aquarius is to open their heart and to focus more on the individual next to them, not just the big picture. Yeah, not just the grandness of humanity. So they will go through a lot of work in relationships. But here we're all going through that in the astrology of this week. It's very interesting. So the moon starts in Libra, moon starts the week in Libra, and which is the sign of relationships. And it's on 29 degrees when the weekly energy shifts from last week to this week. Now, 29 degrees is what we call the anoretic. And the anoretic is always where there's a lot of like must do karma, like heavier. This is the stuff we've got to do this week, right? This is the focus. And so the moon there is really powerful because the moon really dictates a lot of like the energy for the week. It's part of the cycle, right? We have 4 clear parts of the moon cycle, right? The new moon, the quarter moon, the full moon, the closing quarter moon, and that happens within the month. So here we're in the closing quarter moon, which is always about reviewing or looking back on. Yeah, we're coming to the end of the month. So we're kind of now deeper in our subconscious, reflecting, reviewing, letting go, not doing so much, but more internally what's got to like karmically be done. Okay, so here this 29 degrees on Libra is really saying we're going to reflect a lot on the soul contracts. Yep, on the relationships, the intimate relationships, the things that are closest to us. So Aquarius being very energizing, it means I think we're going to be a little bit more sensitive to the intimate relationships that we're having or not having in our reality.
What I find really interesting and what comes to my mind when it goes to this topic of relationship, and especially with Aquarius that are like having more difficulty to have the bigger picture that they see brought to the basically the atom level of existence.
Yes.
When I was younger, I knew that people were saying like, you change you and you change the world, but I always felt that would never be enough. It would never have any impact. It would never do anything good. Like I always felt like very hopeless and very powerless as well. Like I saw all the problems in the world and I was like, what does it do when I change? Like what does it really help? Because the problems were so vast in my how do you say, in my perception, that I barely could like really see hope for a better world, for a solution. And I think it's a very Aquarian quality that everybody needs to learn, but that is like the main thing for the Aquarians to learn is like, you change your own atomic structure by doing inner work, by changing your darkness into light, by changing your past experiences into positive ones, to really transform yourself. And then your perception of the world transforms. And that's a very technical thing. I had a mom, she was pregnant, and she was like following all these super duper Kundalini yoga moms. And she said, this mom even read quantum physics to her baby in the womb, so the baby would be more intelligent. It's a very yogic thing to do, like to read yourself things during pregnancy so your child is more intelligent. And she used to do the trauma work with me with EMDR. And I said to her, well, this mother probably has read quantum physics, but what you did was quantum physics. You changed your vibrational reality from one perception of reality into another. So that's applied quantum physics. And this is like very Aquarian. Like if you understand that when you change your vibration, your own vibrational truth, because, for example, you have had a very bad past experience, and then you transform this past experience through trauma work, through past life regression work, whatever it is, you do but you transform something within your physical body. That's quantum physics. So you vibrate different after that. And by changing your vibrational reality, you change the world. And I think that's something interesting for Aquarians.
I agree, right? So that is the whole work of spiritual people, that we know it's a choice, and we know that not everyone has to be spiritual for us to shift back into the balanced, harmonious world in which we came from. So the oneness, right? So it's called the critical mass, and that is what in Kabbalistic terms we call the Mashiach energy. which is Messiah, right? But I think in religion in Europe, people have a strange understanding of it. The Mashiach energy is an energy that is already here. And it's the energy of where we restore the world back to the oneness, and we restore ourselves back to one soul, like living in harmony, in balance, in love, in unity, right? So people think it's like this other Jesus coming, or people think it's like something we need to bring down from somewhere. But actually, in the quantum physics of this universe, this kind of restorative, rejuvenated energy already exists. And this is the lesson we learn in the age of the Aquarius in the ancient texts. This is where they talk about the solution before the problem. So we don't see the world like this. We, as you said, we only see problem, right? How do I solve it, right? We come from the consciousness that the problem exists, and then I've got to kind of generate some kind of solution from it, from me. And this is Aquarius on the negative, that I, in my mind, have to do it, right? It doesn't come through me. It comes from me, right? So they think they have the thought, right? So rather than the thought coming from the greater mind through me. So that's the work they have to do, is a lot in the mind. Yeah, a lot of like letting go of their own fixed thoughts on things and opening up to this greater consciousness, which is also available in Aquarius. It's the paradox, right? So here the lesson is that the solution exists before the problem. So, this is when I heard this as a student, I was like, wow, this is like mind-blowing, because every time that you go to a problem, you can have complete certainty that there's a solution that you can bring through from the greater mind through to your mind and solve everything. So why is there a problem then? Because we have to demonstrate, or we want to demonstrate as human beings, that we can be the master of our own destiny. We can bring resolution, we can bring solution, right? So we need to have a problem. So the problem is only an opportunity for us to inject the solution into this reality.
Yeah, and I think,
and we don't even have to be there, right? So as you're saying, when you're existing on that higher frequency or that higher vibe, you can inject that light, inject that energy into the world, which is like slowly cleansing out the world. And as you elevate, and as people elevate, and as people, all of a sudden all the darkness becomes more obvious. Right. So the more you elevate and the more light it's like cleaning, no? You start cleaning and you see a little bit of dirt. And then when you get more and more into the cleaning of it, you see more and more rubbish that you want to throw away, or more dust and more stuff, right? And that's what you have to do. So this human nature of being able to resolve the world back to one is really what we're here for, is to bring this Mashiach energy out and sort of reveal it into the world.
And I think depending on what lineage you're in, or what school that you're talking about, it can be also like very simple. Like for example, the Hawaiians, they have a completely different approach with the Ho'oponopono that we spoke last week already about, or the yogis have a different approach, and there are many different explanations for the same type of internal evolution, basically. And it's always from in essence, it always goes from fear towards love, or from distortion and chaos to harmony, like wherever you go and see. And they're like very ancient, there are ancient texts and ancient teachings and lineages which hold higher types of techniques and technologies. And then there are others that are younger and more approachable, maybe also, right, than what maybe you and I do. Like, but everything is good. But what I want to say is like the hopelessness that is existing in many, so also in whole generations, I feel there's a certain kind of nonchalance with everything, which is also cool. I really like that, like the Gen Z, that natural perception of right, of having a right to certain things, like this inherited right of abundance and clarity and rules and like not being like, I really like that, but I feel that you're the creator of your own destiny. That's basically what I want to say as well.
Yeah, it's so good. And we're becoming more and more conscious and aware of that as we go into the age of Aquarius. And so just coming back to, and I think that that's really important conversation just to really set the tone for Aquarius and why we feel so energized. And when I'm talking, I'm feeling like this. I'm already feeling like I go like that. Right. So we have this extra boost of energy in this month, which is really great. And to use it to break, your limitations, your things that are stopping you from moving forward, to split your own Red Sea, to split your own limited behavior, right? To break out of that, to have a sense of freedom from that. Also, what's happening more in the detail, right? So we've got this moon 29-degree Libra, which is, awakening something in relationships. We also, that we have in Aries, we have Chiron with Juno. Now, Juno is an asteroid that really embodies a lot of energy around relationships. It's usually the partner, not actually us, right? And then Chiron is the wounded healer. And Chiron is compulsory karma. So 29 degrees Libra, 29 degrees compulsory karma. Chiron is compulsory karma. There are some things we just have to do in this reality, right? Sometimes there's no free will. We have to go through some sort of cleansing or healing on something. And Chiron is one of these things that rules over this universe in a kind of fundamental way. So when Juno is going past it or coming together with it, we're really healing or breaking a lot of things that were blocked in us being able to attract in the soulmate or the correct partner for us, right? Not to say that there's any really incorrect partner. There's processes of partners that we have in order to get closer.
About that one.
Yeah. Right. So that's another podcast Nicole and I might start up, right? But we all have processes of partners. Most of them are not our soulmate, but are preparing us for our soulmate. Really, a soulmate is someone who you're binding with to come and really change the world with, to really do something spiritual with. So most of the relationships, even, the ones I have are not really that, but I'm getting closer to it because my last partner connected into Kabbalah. So he's studying. So, I'm kind of getting there, so it's kind of, it's kind of a very high level. And I think in many perceptions of soulmate, it's the one that you just do nice things with and you love each other and everything is perfect. It's kind of a Cinderella-esque style of image in many people's mind. But here in the astrology of this week, we're really, as I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, we've really got these energies that are bringing us back in contact with the soulmates. Yeah, we have Venus in Pisces, and Venus in Pisces is coming conjunct at St. Valentine's Day, coincidentally, with Neptune. And Venus is the body love, the 3D love, the love that we can only experience in this reality, right? Venus brings light into the physical reality, and Neptune is its higher octave, its higher frequency, which brings love on the endless level, the complete level. So these two things are coming together. So 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about, possibility of people showing up in your reality that you feel like you just clicked with, and all of a sudden you didn't, without planning, they come into a reality, just by coincidence. It could be people that you know, people that you don't know, people that are just popping out of nowhere, you're bumping into, or you're instantly clicking with. And this feeling is a soulmate. It doesn't have to be your partner. It doesn't have to be someone you necessarily, could be someone, not possibly your partner, but is a soulmate in the bigger sense of this is someone I've come to do a spiritual work with, someone that's coming to do my mission with me, in this reality. So they could be a friend, it could be an old family member, whatever. And interestingly, I just now clicked that I booked my ticket to go and see my family this week. So so back in Australia, so I'll go at Christmas, but I didn't really put these things together. Your family is someone that you really especially your parents, it's unavoidable, right? You're having to do a soul work with you. They bring it into the work, into the world. So parents, friends, people that you thought weren't necessarily your friend, but all of a sudden they pop up. This is what you're really fine-tuning into. If you're on Tinder and all of a sudden you get this match and all of a sudden you feel like you're almost talking to yourself, you know, that you get this like incredible connection beyond normal, you know, reality or logic. This is something that you should investigate or go into, because it's really going to show up in this reality. This, you know, as I said, from the past 2 or 3 weeks into another 2 or 3 weeks, we're really in a mode, I think, doing a lot of healing after a lot of the relationship traumas that we went through during the virus. That underneath the virus was a lot of relationship shifting, you know. We were online more, we were meeting people more that were further away, highest divorce rates ever over those years. So people separating and moving and shifting around into different realities over these past 2 or 3 years. Been very healthy in some ways. It's breaking, you know, a lot of habits or addictions that we have in relationships. And now I think, you know, this kind of period is really bringing together a kind of healing after that.
Would you say that people at home, when they're like interested in understanding their impact on their personal chart, they could see where they have planets in Libra?
Yeah, you have a look in Libra, have a look what your Venus is doing.
Yes.
And your 7th house. Yeah. So if you have any basic idea of astrology, it even shows you on the chart, it numbers them. So you look at number 7 and you can see a symbol there, and that's what you have there. You know, so the most difficult planet to have in Libra or your 7th house is Mars.
I have Mars in Libra.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And
there you go.
Right, because Libra is about the other person. Yeah, it's about how the other person, right? It's about relationships. And if you have Mars there, Mars is about your personal power, your personal chi, your personal ability to break through, or passion, or desire, or go out and this is what I want to do, right? So if that energy is your individual like force, yeah, it's like your chi. Now in Libra, what you do, if your Mars is there, is you give it to the other person, right? So you lose yourself, you become like bland, like milk or cream. No, you just like lose yourself, and you give it to the other person, you know. So that is quite, it's not impossible, of course, but the work is bringing back your identity back into relationships. Yeah. And this is really like, everything is resolvable in a chart. You just need to know what you need to resolve and work on, and you can move it. Yeah. We will all have something, but I find Mars and Libra very difficult, because you know, in a relationship, you're trying to keep 2 identities. Even though you're becoming one, you've still got to have your own thing in there. And that Mars thing means I'm just, my normal robotic self wants to just give it to the other person. So I have to keep holding my own identity and self. Yes. No? Does that make sense to you as someone who has that?
I have that, and I can say that this is like, I feel that this is my biggest challenge in my whole chart, even though my sun and my Chiron are like this close together and whatever, but the Mars in Libra, for me, like, it's very difficult to be with people and to still be me, and to maintain contact to other people, and not just be there and like not allowed to move or not allowed to do things. It's very, very, very challenging for me.
These people tend to overgive. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
They're like, oh, I'll give it to you. I'll give this to you, and you can have this amount of time, and you can have this. Like, they're generous to a point of over generosity, where they just debilitate like themselves.
Yourself. Yeah, I totally agree. This is what it feels like to me, and it's very, very challenging, and it's very. I think it's one of the reasons why I personally am single is my Mars in Libra, because I feel that I barely can be me. Like I have a very clear sense of myself when I'm alone. I have
Yes,
rhythm.
that could be possible.
I have my own values. I have like I do me, and then I'm doing really good, and then I'm getting into close relationships, and I lose it all. It's very difficult. No.
Yeah. It's a work, right? It's karma. So yeah. So it's a very interesting one, that one. So yeah, this is the kind of the idea of this moment is your relationship things, that even if you have, as I said, even if you have one or even if you don't, you will really feel you want to break through or unlimit yourself, because it's Aquarius energy. You want to be able to transform that or change that or energize that in a new way. The final one to talk about is Saturn trining the moon. So the moon really represents our inner nature, our emotions, or our soul. The emotions are sometimes reactive and robotic, and the soul is really what we want to share, who we really want to be. So Saturn is always like it's a kind of energy that really makes you work. It's the karma, it's the lord of karma. Yeah, Saturn is it makes you work, it makes you earn, it makes you sort of do actions or mature in a way that makes you sort of like do your karmic work. Yeah. So it's the tough love, or that kind of disciplinarian kind of feeling. You have to do this, but then you'll be better after it. Yes. And it's like all the actions that it makes you do are the things that you really don't like. Right. And because because this is like boot camp, Saturn is like a boot camp, is like you get better at the end, but you have to do a lot of things to get there. Yeah. And so, but it's trining, which means it's an easier energy. So there's something here that it's opening up a space where like you will feel what you need to do easily, rather than as a kind of struggle. So it kind of like brings all your inner self, and it makes it like the things that are subconscious or unconscious. It means this is the things you need to do. And this is the trine. The trine is like skating on ice skate, if you can ice skate well. Yeah, it's like gliding. Yeah, so your soul will have a more senses of gliding, yeah, into something that is still work and still difficult, but not as so challenging. Yeah, it gives you, this is the framework or the borders that you really need to move yourself in. Often when we're doing whatever our karma is, but particularly with relationship karma this week, we're existing somewhere outside of this border. Yeah. So if this is the inside of this is where you need to be to get your relationship moving, yeah, we're existing somewhere outside of it. So the Saturn makes you earn back into that realm of behavior, emotions, and it borders it. Yeah, it locks it in and says this is where you need to be. So it kind of restricts you in. Yeah. So often things that are not manifesting is because we're not restricting. We're a bit loose on some behavior. Yeah. And we need to bind that behavior in a bit or restrict it in a bit. Yeah. And that's what Saturn makes us do. Yeah. So if you're a victim in relationships, or if you're a pleaser, or if you're a runner away, or if you're like an emotional, or if you're a fantasy, all of these like kinds of people, right? We all are one of something, right? This is the kind of loose behavior. Yeah. These archetypes that kind of take us away from being where we want to be. So Saturn kind of comes in and really shifts all of that and brings up and says, this is who you're being in that. Wouldn't it be better if you were working on being more in here? And so this is what we will experience,
Amazing.
Yeah. What archetype is, or what robotic behavior is keeping you out of it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what's going on next week. I can't wait to see also what's unfolding, like in the whole, Valentine's Day and
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
especially with these special planetarian constructions and options that we have. So if you guys have like stories or things that you want to tell us about yourself, leave us a comment on YouTube. I finally found out how to manage these comments, so this should get better from now on. And yeah, thank you so much, Matt, for this amazing.
Yeah, thank you for you. It was great. No, I really enjoyed it.
And me
I'll
too.
see you soon.
And we see you guys next week from Rome.
Amazing.
Okay, bye bye.
Ciao. Bye.